time in office does not necessarily equate to experience. It's this little stupid trick that they're trying. Just because you just sat around in an office for 30 years doesn't mean anything.
I could cry, but I'm so proud of you. That's all I want to say. The president is proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Kash Patel moved quickly, reported from NBC immediately after the swearing in, said FBI Director Kash Patel is now ordering 1,000 agents at headquarters back into the field. Get out. And another 500 employees must move from DC to the FBI facility in Huntsville, Alabama. Current and former FBI officials tell NBC News. There are about 7,300 employees working in the Hoover building now. Most of them are non-agents, just bureaucrats shuffling papers around. 1,000 of you, get out and go do something useful. Go touch some grass. 500 of you, you're going to Alabama. And Alabama's a very nice place, I've heard. I have not been there, but I heard it's great. They're going to enjoy it. So you can see New York Times is reporting the same. It says the timeline for the agents and the employees, not immediately clear, but it's happening quick. Said FBI director told bureau officials on Friday, 1,000 people going back out, 500 being reassigned, newly sworn in, widely expected to thin out the headquarters and, kind of spread the wealth around a little bit, like Obama said. Remember that? Got to spread it around. The timeline for identifying the employees who would go into the field, not immediately clear. Two former senior FBI officials were probably called New York Times. We gotta go to Alabama. I'm thinking going to Alabama. Oh, no, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. You can like it. In a statement, the FBI said Director Patel has made clear his promise to the American public and that the FBI agents will be in communities focusing on combating violent crime. He's directed leadership to implement a plan to put this promise into action. Mr. Patel had promised to shake up the Bureau last year in an interview. He told the Sean Ryan show, great interview, I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopen it the next day as a museum of the deep state. Then I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in the building and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops. You're cops. Go be cops. How Mr. Patel reached this decision is not clear. I don't know. What do they think? Someone's like shoving stuff into his brain? But a group of former and current agents on his advisory team have been taking stock of the Bureau's operation. Like how he reached this decision is not, what are you talking about? He's the director. It's his decision. How? Like advisory team? All right, anyways. They're trying to make Patel seem incompetent, just to be clear. There's a subtext to this story, which is why I paused on that. And it's interesting. I noticed this when I do the thumbnails for the show, right? I search for some of those images. I search for Kash Patel, and I often can see the narrative of the media, not from the headlines, but from the photos that show up. And they've got photos, right, of Kash Patel kind of looking like a doofus, kind of like all over the place, like all these faces. Oh, okay, we got it. So it's the doofus narrative. And Kash Patel came out last night. He's like, this is effing crazy, dude. So they're going to take that, right, and maximize that up to like level 15. So just get ready for that. So it's not real sure if he's even in charge. Like, who else is in charge? Is it Elon? Is it Trump? Who's running this? He has directed FBI leadership to implement a plan, which is very racist, by the way. Why are they doing that? He's the first, my understanding is, Indian type person in this position, right? It's all been white dudes. So they think he's not capable or something. That subtext is very racist. Mr. Patel had promised to shake up the Bureau last year, obviously. Said he's not the first director to try to reduce ranks. In 1990s, Louis Frey, who showed back up in the Hunter scam, tried a similar approach. But even before Patel took office, they tried to cut this down. Okay, so again, it's like we're already removing these people, so he didn't really change anything because we're already forced retirements for several reasons that remain unclear. Eliminating personnel who collectively had vast experience. Again, time in office does not necessarily equate to experience. It's this little stupid trick that they're trying. Just because you just sat around in an office for 30 years doesn't mean anything. I saw this a lot when I practiced law. You'd see these attorneys who'd come out, like their website would be like, practicing for 30 years. What? So what? You're a moron. What does that mean? Like that's your selling point? Look at your results. Look at what you're doing in court. It's like you're a disaster. But they put on their websites like 30 years of practice. Okay, well, that's fine. Like if you did something in those 30 years, the fact that you just existed for 30 years with a title is not that relevant to me personally. And this has been a repetitive thing that we've seen in the media, oh gosh, vast experience. Why? Because they've been there for 15, 20, 30 years. What have they done? The agency's a disaster. All of these agencies are garbage. So what do I care how long they've been there? In fact, when you come in, it seems like those people might be the first ones who need to go because they're at senior positions. You got to come shake them out first. Anyway, support staff, that's where the atrophy is. That's where the gears have been mucked up. Support staff on the 7th floor of headquarters, where top officials sit, were told to relocate to another floor, including former director's secretary. So he vacated the whole floor. That's amazing. Mr. Patel has indicated his desire for a clean break from Christopher Wray. So he said, all right, everybody on this floor, get out. You're all gone. At his Senate confirmation hearing, he sought to explain his pledge to overhaul the Bureau. He said that there were about 11,000 FBI employees, 38,000 working in the Capitol surrounding areas. I will do that over and over and over because the American people deserve resources, not DC. Spread it around. Relocating FBI employees is expensive, and doing so would come as Trump has prioritized cost cutting, right? It's going to cost a lot for them to move, U-Haul trucks and things. The administration has already asked for a list of probationary employees, going to fire them too. Former FBI officials raised questions about where agents and support personnel should go and which field offices needed the resources. Yeah, this guy, Chris Patel, apparently this guy, I don't know where the New York Times got their quotes from, but I think they might have ripped those off from Just the News. But anyways, our friend Garrett O'Boyle, one of the suspendable FBI agents, was shredding Chris Patel last night. He's like, man, that guy should not be giving quotes to anybody. That guy's a piece of work. I don't know anything about the guy, but that was his take on it over on X. So, in other words, this guy criticizing Kash is trash, like that one. Where is he going to put them? He says, you need to get in there and see behind the curtains. It's difficult to balance. No, it's not, Chris. They're going to Alabama. All right, so that's part of that. Now, similarly, we notice this, as I mentioned earlier, where have the Democrats been on affirming Kash Patel's existence and lived experience as a first person of color? The hell were they on this one when they were objecting to him? I didn't even think about this, but it's true. It's racist and bigoted of White House and Pencil Neck Schiff and Dick Durbin to stand around there, a bunch of white dudes blocking Kash Patel. Wild. Says Democrats have been notably silent on Kash being the first person of color to head the FBI. Yeah, where were they? Patel's a fervent ally, and he's an Indian American. He's making history. Historic. First person of color FBI director. Wow. Senate Judiciary Democrats, though, the white Dick Durbin, the white Richard Blumenthal, the white pencil neck Adam Schiff, who's freezing there. We have to block Kash Patel and get back inside. Freezing my Schiff off. Senator Whitehouse Sheldon, similarly, he said Kash Patel, mark my words, will cause evil in this building behind us. Why? Because he's Indian? And that Republicans who vote for him will rue the day. Bunch of white dudes. Did Senator Sheldon Whitehouse come up with this pathetic line of attack at his all-white beach club? It's a great question. Steve Cortez asked that question. It's a great question. Yeah, what were they doing there? They just want to keep it a white dude only club, huh? Trump nominated Kash Patel because of his qualifications. Nobody even here mentioned his heritage or sexuality or any of those things because they don't matter. We judge based on competence and the ability to deliver. That's all. We're not like the Democrats who splice everybody into racist little categories and say, well, your race is a little bit more oppressed than this race today, so let's check the racial stock markets and see who's up and who's down. Democrats notably emphasize diversity and representation both during 2020 and 24, but they don't really care this time. Or what about Scott Bessent too? Prior to 2020, they were screaming about this. They brought Karine Jean-Pierre. That was her primary qualification, a black lesbian. They're like, oh my gosh, all their brains exploded. She muttered out gobbledygook out of her mouth 2 years after Psaki came out, but it was rough, but they loved her. But we didn't get any of the same accolades for Kash or for Scott. None of it, because the Democrats are just bigoted xenophobes. So here was Trump commenting on Kash Patel. He said, love him. He's going to go down as the best ever.
The agents led the charge for Kash. One of the reasons I loved Kash and wanted to put him in is because of the respect the agents had for him. I think he'll go down as the best ever at that position. And turned out he was very easy to get approved. I was not sure. He's a tough guy, strong guy. He has his opinions, and I wasn't sure. He turned out to be very smooth. I don't know if he's in the room now. He's going to be in the room very shortly. Where is he? That I'm saying the right thing. I better be careful. I will say this about Kash, and Howard understands this. One of the reasons that I wanted him is because the agents love this guy and they respect this guy, and this is what they wanted. And even somebody like Trey Gowdy, who's a very good guy, but known as somewhat of a moderate person, he came out with a statement that was so incredible. He said, Kash is an incredible person. People don't realize it. When he said that, there was no doubt left. It was really a big statement made by somebody that's respected and on the moderate side. And I will tell you, I think Kash is going to go down as maybe the best ever when it's all said and done. So I'm glad he's willing to do it. Thank you, Kash.
Wow. Okay. So Trey Gowdy, we have to say thank you to Trey Gowdy, but we do appreciate Trey's influence here. Goddess Kash Patel. Have to send our commendations when appropriate. So thank you, Kash. Now here was Alina Habba. Yesterday, they had a little bit of a post swearing in event, and I think Benny Johnson was filming this. He was there. Had a little bit of an inside scoop into what was happening. Here's a snippet.
I want to say something different and share a story that I've never told. Kash is my brother. I could cry. I'm not allowed to cry. I'm supposed to be a tough chick. So Kash is my brother. We always say we're brother and sister. We have gone through a lot together. In fact, we went to a grand jury, and one of the pictures they put up was me and Kash, and I started laughing hysterically, and so did he. I remember saying, "You're right. That's my friend. Do you have a problem with it?" The reality of the situation is, when I started here and I started in this world, I did not know anything about it. Kash had my back. I could cry. I'm so proud of you. That's all I want to say. The president is proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Very cute. So Alina and Kash getting it done, and we got Kash sworn in. Good news.